Hey guys, this is Morgan Harper. Welcome to our virtual curriculum night. I'm so glad that we have technology that enables us to do these things. Generally, what curriculum night would look like is you would be in our classroom and we would be able to be together face to face as we walked through some of these things. But now that we're in different times, this looks a little bit different. So I'm going to walk you through our curriculum night through PowerPoint. So, welcome to our class. A little bit about myself. So, I graduated from Belhaven University. It's out in Jackson, Mississippi, and I got my degree in elementary education. Believe it or not, this is my 6th year teaching. I spent 4 years as a second grade teacher and then the last 2 years as a first grade teacher here at JES. My husband and I are currently youth pastors in Athens, Georgia, at a church called Cornerstone. That's actually what brought us here to Jefferson, and we absolutely love it. And the newest thing about our lives is we have a 6-month-old little girl, and her name is Charlie Jane, and she is the absolute light of our life. And I'll show you a picture. So this is us at the beach, and she's actually gotten so much bigger since then. It's crazy. So that's my husband and my baby. I'm going to go ahead and do Mrs. McDonald's side as well. So she actually got her undergrad from UGA. I'm a Roll Tide fan, so I have to stop right here and just say Roll Tide. But Miss McDonald is a Go Dogs fan. She also just submitted her last assignment for her master's degree in special education last week, and so we're really excited for Miss McDonald and just really proud of all of her hard work and the investment that she has made in her education so that she can better teach our kiddos. This is her 3rd year teaching, and all 3 years she's been in 1st grade. Miss McDonald, she grew up in Jefferson. She actually went to the elementary school that we're teaching in, and she has been named Cody, and it says that she had 2 dogs, so this was from last year. She actually has 3 now, and this is a picture of them. So that's Cody and their dogs, and then they've actually gotten a puppy since then, so they have a full house. All right, so let's talk about our daily schedule a little bit. Now that the virus has hit, our arrival time looks a little bit different. So the students will get here at 7 o'clock. At about 7:40 is when our announcements begin, and then about 7:45 we're able to do a morning meeting, and this is just for us to touch base with the kids, say good morning, have conversation, really figure out how the kids are feeling. And then we jump right into literacy and foundations. Then we roll straight into guided reading, then specials, writer's workshop. We get to go to the kids' favorite time of the day, which is recess, and then lunch. Lunch looks a little bit different this year. It is in the classroom, so you guys just pray for us, because that is... Our kids have actually done a lot better than I thought that they would. But Lord help the day that we had syrup in our classroom. It was a disaster. So anyways, moving on. Then we go to math. And then generally we'll do like a read aloud. And then we got to get our kids packed up around 2. And then we dismiss them to come home around 2:20. So we've talked a little bit about inclusion with you guys already in some of our videos. And so this is just a place here for you to read a little bit more on inclusion. But basically it's 2 teachers, 1 regular ed teacher, which is me, and then our special education teacher, which is Mrs. McDonald. And we are able to share the classroom with all types of students, and we honor every child and every ability and every need that they need met in our classroom. And it is the most amazing setting, and it's so fun to watch our kids love on each other and learn to include one another despite our differences. And so it is the most amazing model. I've never seen anything like it until I moved to Jefferson. So we're truly blessed to have a model like this. So guided reading is a very, very, very important part of our day. So Maggie and I sit at our guided reading tables as reading is taking place. So we have a couple of different centers. So the cool thing about our classroom is that our children get double dipped, meaning they're getting reading skills at Mrs. McDonald's table as well as reading skills with me. And that is one benefit to having two teachers in the classroom, so that they're getting double what almost every other child is getting, only because we've got two teachers in the room that are teaching reading. So that's really helpful for some of our struggling readers. We also have a program called I Read, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And then another center that we have is our babies are taking AR tests and reading independently. And I just threw a quick little note down there. Please, please, please keep keep their books in their book bags. We want them to read them at home, but please, parents, make sure they make it back into the bag so that we can read them at school, take AR tests, and be able to return them so that we can bring new AR books home. All right, so what is guided reading? Basically, guided reading is students reading leveled books on their individual reading level. So your child has been grouped with other children that are reading on or around the very same level that they're on. And so it's on their instructional reading level, meaning that that's where they need instruction. It's not something that they can read independently. They need help reading. They get one-on-one instruction, meaning as they are sitting at my table in a small group, there are still often times that I and Maggie will meet individually with those kiddos and hear their reading and listen to what they're doing well and then what they need work on. And we get to work and instruct them where they need help. We're discussing and developing and strengthening reading strategies. So those are things like tracking with our finger and, putting our finger underneath the words as we read. And then we're learning new phonics skills, which is amazing. And you guys will see that the foundation of phonics is so important to learn, because as we learn those phonetic skills, we're able to put words together and then we're able to read much quicker. Another part of guided reading is our sight words. We sent home a letter last week with your child's sight words to be working on. That way, when they see those sight words in their books, they're able to read them quickly and to move on instead of decoding those words. Often those sight words are words that do not follow phonetic rules, which is why we ask that these students learn those sight words. They're so, so important. So please make sure that you are working with your child on those sight words that we sent home. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is I Read. I Read is a program that we use here at Jefferson Elementary School, and it is to, again, help your child learn how to read. It is an amazing program. It prepares them for the Common Core standards that they are required to meet. It helps increase the number of children reading at grade level by the third grade. And we've actually seen this true in our data meetings. I Read has been fantastic to prepare those readers for reading and for testing. It says to instill effective early literacy and reading intervention practices at grades K through 3. So again, just another program, that we love here at JES, and it helps build our blooming readers. Another part of our day includes Writer's Workshop. This is one of my favorite times because this is really an opportunity for your child to express themselves. I know that writing can be challenging. It doesn't always come easy. And so we want students to write about what they know. And so your students, or your kids, as we write this year, are going to be asked to write about things that they love, things that they know, things that they enjoy doing, because the only way to help them be better writers is to engage their interests. It's very similar to reading, and so we really want to engage your children in what they're interested in. So you may oftentimes have stories that they've written come home about vacations you've taken, or the family dog, or what happened in school that day. So just to prepare you for that, we teach them how to use a writer's checklist, so that we're looking for punctuation, capitalization, are there spaces between our words. We teach the kids how to edit their own work, which is really a really great and incredible skill to teach them at such a young age, and they usually catch on so amazing. So it's also a place where we focus on grammar. Now, Mom, Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, Aunt, Uncle, if you are watching this, please know that we are not going to correct every word that your child writes on a sheet of paper. If the word is spelled, what we tell them is we want you to try your best. We do have word wall words that are up in our classroom, and these are words that they're using often, and we want them to know how to spell, so they're up on our word wall. But other than those word wall words, as long as they are writing them to the best of their ability as they sound them out, that's what we expect. So I don't want you thinking that your child's going to come home spelling every word right. So just kind of let that expectation go and know that developmentally they are right where they need to be, and we will focus on the skills that they need to be focusing on in first grade. A couple of genres we'll be going over is narrative, where they'll be telling stories, opinion writing, they'll be learning how to use their voices and give their opinions, and then informational writing, and so research-based writing. Social studies is something that we will cover in first grade. It is not necessarily what we are asked to do. Is we are asked to expose them to the social studies standards. So a couple of these standards that we'll be going over are continents and oceans, the earth, the North America, United States, Georgia, Jackson County, and then Jefferson City. We'll be going over landforms. We actually just learned this last week, and they got to make a pretty cool craft to go with that. And we also learned about natural resources. In science, we're learning about the weather, the heat, the light, and sound. We'll talk about magnets and needs of plants and animals. All right, so math. Math is a big deal here at Jefferson. I came from a school district that did not have a math program in place, and I remember for years begging that we get or adopt a math program. And they never did, and I always felt like my kids were never getting everything that they needed. And so when I moved to Jefferson and they told me that there was a math program in place, I was so excited because I knew that I wouldn't be spending hours trying to pick out resources to make sure that I cover every standard that these children need to know. So we have an amazing program called Eureka Math. It is research-based. It is whole group instruction as well as some small group instruction. So when you walk in our inclusion classroom, we will have whole group, but Miss McDonald will have a group of students at her table. And so as I teach, she is instructing students that need some small group instruction there, but they often follow along and do a great job. We focus on things like whole number relationships and place value. You guys have already seen some of that, addition and subtraction, measurement, and then at the end of the year, we'll cover some geometric shapes and time. Let's see, homework on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Mom and Dad, you guys have homework books that should be in your child's book bag. If for some reason you have no homework book and you have no idea what I'm talking about, please let me know and we'll send a homework book home with you guys. I try to send on Remind 101 the lesson that we're doing that day. So you guys are welcome to do it every day. I've had some parents say, can I do it Monday through Friday, which is fine with me. But we do ask that you return their homework on Tuesday and Thursday. That way we can just know that they're getting some more practice at home. And my mom always says, at least with my math, because it was the biggest struggle for me growing up, practice makes perfect, and that is so true in math. There are parent homework helpers on the JES website resource, or on the website. There's also videos. So if you need access to any of that, you're welcome to visit our Jefferson Elementary School website. All right, let's talk about behavior management. So as a school, we've adopted PBIS, and so basically what we do is we've all agreed to go with our ROAR rules. So we are respectful, on task, always safe, and ready. I believe that's it, y'all. It is almost 10 o'clock at night, so excuse me if that's wrong. I think that's right. And so we make sure that our students are all following those rules. And then that goes to our clip chart. So we have a clip chart in our classroom. I sent something home at the beginning of the year about this. If your child is doing something great, they clip up. And if they're doing something not so great, they clip down. Generally, they have one warning. And if it's not corrected after the warning, then they will clip down. If your child clips down, they are not there all day. They have an opportunity to make better decisions, and then they will be able to clip up. Now, our kids have done a really great job, and the clip chart is very effective in first grade, but we have a very good group of kids. So please do not be alarmed if your child comes home on yellow. It's just a warning. Anything below that, we will generally send home a note, or we will call you if we feel that is necessary. So homework, we just covered this, at least for math. Tuesdays and Thursdays, please return that work. Another piece of homework that we ask that you do is, now that you have those sight words, and we will be sending new ones home weekly. If you don't receive new sight words that week, it is because your child has not mastered the words on the list that we need them to yet. So continue practicing the words that they have at home. Another thing, you do not have to send those sight words in. You can keep them at home as long as you keep up with that ring, and then we will send you guys the words home for you to put on the ring to continue to study. We have lists here that they'll read off of when we assess them on Fridays. And then we would like for you to read at least 15 minutes a night. So what we would really eventually love for this to look like is that parents transition out of reading to your child. At least let them read to you. a little bit. So I know that like bedtime stories are so important and they need to hear you reading to them. But we would love for them themselves to be reading anywhere from about 10 to 15 minutes a night independently. So maybe let them pull out their AR book that's in their book bag and read that to you. But again, I don't want to discourage anything that you're reading at home. We want you parents to read to your child because that is so important in their development. But we also want them for 10 to 15 minutes a night that your child is reading. Some reminders, please make sure that tennis shoes are worn on PE days. I, believe it or not, have had a child break their arm because they had the wrong shoes on. So please make sure that your child is wearing tennis shoes on PE days. Please make sure that you're sending in a healthy snack and water. By healthy snack, we mean please do not send M&Ms for snack. Let's do something a little bit better just to get that brain pumping a little bit, and to stay away from the sugar high that we know the kiddos can get. Please check your child's agenda daily. That is how we send notes home or anything important that you need to know. We send those green Monday folders home every Monday, and that will have your child's classwork from the week, as well as tests if they've taken any tests. Let me add here, because this is always such a confusion. If your child brings home tests, or anything else for that matter, there are two sides to that folder. There is a keep at home section and there is a return to school section. If it has been placed in the return to school section, please return it to school. We really need those things to come back to us. If it is keep at home, we do not want it. We want you to keep it at home. You keep it all in a pretty little drawer. If you're like me, you probably toss most of it. So please, if it says return to school, please be sure that you're returning those things to school. I've already covered, be sure that library books have been placed back in their book bag for the next day. Label belongings. Guys, we lose things all of the time. I can't tell you the amount of, we probably have thousands of dollars in jackets that are kept throughout the school year that have been lost. And so we need any jacket that your child is wearing to school, any hat that your child is wearing to school, these days, any mask that your child is wearing to school. If you could please find a way, water bottles, lunch boxes, anything like that, please find a way to put their first and last name in there so that if it's found, that we can make sure that we can get that item back to your baby. Any transportation changes, we would love if you guys could send those in their agenda. I also can receive transportation changes if it needs to be, send it by reminder email as well. So just be sure that you're communicating those with us. And then it says lunch money. There are ways to pay your lunch money online. If you are new and don't know how to do that, we should be able to get some information to you. As of right now, ice cream money, the ice cream is not open at the moment. I think because of COVID, they are trying to figure out how we're going to make sure that we get the money from the kids, as well as not have every child in our school touching the ice cream. So we're still working through that. So once we hear about ice cream, we will let you guys know. And then if you guys have one more thing I just remembered. I wanted to stop for just a second. So birthdays are very important. I know you guys like to send in cupcakes and celebrate, and we still want to do that, but I need you to hear us. We have been asked that if you send anything in, it has to be store-bought and needs to be individually wrapped. Meaning that we cannot pass out cupcakes to your students. So Debbie cakes are a great way to do that. Anything individually wrapped we can do. So if you have any questions about that, please let us know. But I did want to say that because I know that we've got some birthdays coming up. So please keep that in mind as you decide on what to send in for your child. We still want to celebrate them, but just keep that in mind. If you guys have any questions, I know we've covered a lot of information, but if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to shoot us an email. You can message us on Remind. If you need anything, guys, you've been amazing already with communication. So I want you to know that I'm usually always available to talk to you guys. So I try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. But we want you to know, we know and understand that this is a different school year. There are lots of questions and concerns, and we want to make sure that we answer every single one of those for you guys. So we appreciate you, and we look forward to partnering with you in making this the best school year ever, although it's a little weird and different, but the best school year ever for your first grader. So thank you for sharing your babies with Maggie and I, and trusting us with them. And we're just so excited about the 2020-2021 school year.